Okay, my name is Brianna Flavin, and I'm a senior writing major in the English department. I'm about to graduate.
My name is Rebecca Kish, and I am also a senior writing major. We do a lot of classes together. I'm going to graduate in a couple weeks as well. I don't know that I can remember when I decided I wanted to be a writer.
So I started reading, probably when most kids start reading, but I really loved it, and I did it all the time.
I have loved books and reading and everything to do with words and language for as long as I can remember, ever since my mom started reading to me.
And I still do. Reading has been just a huge central part of my life for a really long time. I don't think I realized I wanted to write probably until my senior year of high school, maybe, or even here, freshman year of college.
I don't remember ever deciding I wanted to be a writer, but I think that just flows out of a love for words and language. My first piece of writing, I didn't even write myself. I began to narrate stories to my mom and make her type them for me, I think when I was 4 or 5.
I think I started writing in 6th grade, and it was a chapter book, what I called it at the time, because that's what novels are when you're little, chapter books.
So we have tons and tons of books with Crayola crayon covers of just my first writing experiences, which were mostly about princesses and the mice that lived in her walls and all of the normal things that little kids would write about.
It was a chapter book about a African-American teenager who was living in the stress of post-Civil War tension. Yeah, it sounds deep and intelligent, but for the most part it wasn't. It wasn't.
I started writing more seriously as I got older. I just wrote, rhyming poems and those type of things until I ended up trying to write my famous novel, which now I read it and I would never let anyone see it. But I've definitely been writing for a long time. There's this idea that if you're going to be a writer, you have to read things that are so literary and scholarly, and you should love Aristotle and love, love all these things that are absolutely painful. And the thing is I do love some of the ideas that we can get from those, but I think that it's important just to let people know that we like reading all sorts of things, I like pleasure reading as much as anybody else. I just finished The Tale of Despereaux, and people are saying, oh, that's a children's book, isn't it? It's like, no, it's a book.
During school, I love reading children's books. I go back and read all of Frances Hodgson Burnett, Louisa May Alcott, George MacDonald, C.S. Lewis, anything that I would have read in my childhood.
I think we as writers, we really dread trying to pick a favorite book because
so hard.
We love every book I think we've probably ever read for some reason, even if it drives us crazy for other reasons.
There's all kinds of different challenges you get from being in the academic setting, like we were talking about before, kind of with just the schedule. You have to have things due at a certain time, you have to read certain things. Even though Capstone breaks that up a bit, it's difficult, and it's hard to generate material when all you're doing is being at school. What can you write about then?
And it's very difficult to sit down and say, I have to be creative now, I have to be emotionally present, I have to own my story, and all you really want to do is sleep or have a panic attack. But I think it's been a good challenge because we realize that even though we think we're so busy now, once we graduate, we're going to continue to be busy.
One of the greatest joys, or maybe even the greatest joy for me with writing, has been just its ability to impact the way that you experience life. We're always taking in experiences, and we're always, just sort of storing all this material in the back of our minds. And for poetry especially, for me, when you take that stuff out and you try to craft it into a poem, it makes sense of your experience. It makes sense of life. It gives it almost a deeper meaning to what's already sort of happened to you.
And as Christians too, we have such a unique perspective because we do have what God is revealing to us every day, and we do have the beauty of the mystery of God in the world, and we do get to dig into that and to see that. So hopefully our writing is not just something that is just like a tract, which is great, but that's not what we're doing. Hopefully we are successfully combining art and God together, because I don't think they should ever be separated in the first place.